YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be taking a look at my first impression review of the Brooks Ghost 13. This is a standard daily trainer that has been known by many as a super reliable piece of footwear to wear on pretty much any occasion. So I wanted to give this thing a try and see how it handles. So without any further ado, let's get right into my review of the Brooks Ghost 13. The extremely popular Brooks Ghost 13 is an everyday running shoe that offers reliable cushioning and comfort. Oh my God, that is simple and stripped down, just kinda like this shoe. Brooks makes like really chill, simple, laid back shoes, and a lot of people swear by it, so let's get right into this review, starting with the stack height. So the Brooks Ghost is coming in at 32 millimeters in the heel and 20 millimeters in the forefoot for a total heel to toe drop of 12 millimeters. It's something to wear on a day where you're like really trying to like not stretch out your Achilles and your calves and stuff like that. The Brooks Ghost 13 is weighing in at 9.7 ounces in a men's size 9 and an 8.5 ounces in a woman's size 8. Really, it's a non-factor in this shoe for me. I didn't feel any issues, especially if you're using this as a daily trainer. Big ups to Brooks there. They know how to make a shoe feel stripped down, simple, yet perfectly reliable. Let's move on to the fit. So I am a true 11.5 and I got this shoe in an 11 just because I have a pretty narrow foot, and Brooks makes the toe box wider for people, and I think most people often have a wider foot than a narrower foot, so I get that. It just fit better for me to go a half size down, so I was very comfortable in the toe box, the midfoot, and over the ankle. Lockdown, great. That moves us all very well into the upper, where Brooks is implementing a comprehensive engineered upper mesh material all around the shoe. There's really no areas where I felt a hot spot. I think it's just a good, solid upper. There's really no frills. The tongue is not gusseted at all. I think that may be something they implement in the next model, just because that's the way things are going. But as far as a simple shoe goes, I don't mind that it's not there. I mean, the fit is just fine. The tongue does not sway at all over the top of your foot. They also have a heel counter that is fairly sturdy. I would almost say this is like the same heel counter as what was in the Brooks Adrenaline. Like, it's gonna lock your foot down really well. And everyone that talks about the Ghost kind of talks about how it's a pretty supportive, neutral shoe, and I could see why. It definitely locks your heel down very well, locks your ankle down really well. You're not gonna see a lot of slipping, and it just feels like it's holding your foot nicely. And that moves us really well into the midsole. Brooks is implementing a DNA loft midsole, which I have really been enjoying on my first couple of runs. It's not plush, but it's just soft enough to feel really comfortable when you wanna go super slow. But then there's enough rebound that it lets you go fast and have a little bit of energy return and snap when you wanna like kick it home a little bit when you're feeling good or going downhill or just working off a tailwind. So I've really been enjoying that a lot. And I think that's also partly contributed to the Omega flex grooves that they have, letting the shoe's flexibility be a little bit more than others I'd seen with this thick of a midsole. It really allows your foot to kind of have a nice flexibility in the forefoot and have an extra little snap at the toe off of your stride. So I really enjoyed that. So shout out to Brooks for implementing that, as well as a crash rail on the bottom. If you guys know how I feel about crash rails, you know that if I don't feel them, that's a good thing. That means it is effectively helping you ease in a transition from your heel to your toe off. And guess what? Didn't feel it in this. That does it for the midsole, and now we're gonna move to the outsole. As you can see, I got a pretty dirty outsole here, but I'll overlay some nice outsole rubber for you there. This outsole actually might be the silent MVP of this shoe. It's pretty thick, as you can kind of see, and I'd say it almost contributes to a snappy feel in this shoe. Like, I think the firmness of this outsole and the thickness of it really does kind of like allow for a nice hard snap going out from your toe off. I thought it was a little hard when I ran in the Adrenaline for it, but they got it super right in the Ghost. So shout out to them for that. I actually like how responsive this shoe feels on the toe off, like for a daily trainer. So it kind of encourages you to go fast, but only when you want to go fast. So that's kind of dope. I don't see that a lot in a daily training shoe. So that about does it for the specs. Let's move on to my positives and drawbacks of the shoe. Starting with the positive, which I just mentioned, it's probably gonna be that outsole rubber. Like, this thing, I think, is the silent contributor to what is a very snappy, responsive, and durable ride. Also, the traction, really solid. I even ran on a little bit of ice in this thing and had very little grip issues. I'm not saying you should go out and run on ice in it. I'm just saying I didn't really have a ton of issues with that. Maybe an extreme example, but you're not gonna have any issues running on some standard surfaces, and it allows you to get a little fast. And again, kind of the hardness of that midsole, especially in the forefoot, really does contribute to a nice snappy toe off. So shout out to this outsole rubber. That is my current positive during my first impression that I felt in my first couple runs. Going on to my drawback though, I felt a little unstable in my first couple runs. Maybe that's because I haven't sunk into the foam yet, but I just want to say that I've had some platformy type issues in this shoe just in my first couple runs. We'll see what goes on as I put more miles on this thing, but I felt a little unstable from time to time, maybe going across tight turns and stuff like that. Moving on to my durability prediction, I'm gonna put this shoe between 500 to 600 miles. I think it's pretty standard. I know a lot of people that wear this shoe a lot after they are done running in it too, just because it's so comfortable even afterwards. And I think Brooks does a great job with that in general. Moving on to best uses of this shoe, daily training, easy runs, and maybe like medium runs, like steezy pace stuff. There's not much else I really would prefer doing in this, especially with the arsenal that I am accumulating nowadays. But this will be a great shoe to go to when I just kind of want a nice, supportive, neutral, soft trainer that maybe allows me to pick up the pace if I'm feeling good at the end of my runs. Moving on to the price. At $130, I'd say that's a pretty solid price for this thing. Plenty of versatility, especially if you're one of those people who likes a shoe to just wear for everything. This is definitely one of those shoes. But regarding kind of long-lasting durability and versatility, there may not be a better shoe out there. Who knows? That's a pretty bold take. Maybe I'm just BSing right now, but we'll have to find out more as I run more in this thing. So until then, I am really enjoying this shoe, and I can't wait to get more miles on the Brooks Ghost 13. That about does it today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're enjoying the content, please feel free to like, subscribe, and smash that bell button below. If you have a recommendation, please feel free to leave a comment. And until next time, y'all know the drill. Stay healthy, stay chill. Cheers, friends.